Yeah.
There we go.
So, I guess it's on.
I guess so.
All right.
All right.
Well, welcome back.
Welcome back. Yes, this is good to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you guys think we've all just died and moved to California or something?
Well, that would be okay if not the dying part, but the California
But the California part, maybe that's the same thing. So,
Maybe.
okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
And early morning coffee.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's early-ish.
Early-ish. Yes, the wheelbase is wrong on this truck, and we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
And no, it's not Scottsdale from RC four-wheel drive.
Huh?
So,
no, that thing.
Because they make a blue half-ton-ish looking Chevy now.
Yeah, they do.
And this is not that.
It's not.
This was created way before that.
Yes, that's true.
And so, anyway, we should talk about what we've been doing for the last year. The last season, I guess you could call it. I guess it's seasons, right? Because we did a bunch of build stuffs. And then USTE was February. And then, so this summer, we got filled up with a whole bunch of stuff. What did you do this summer?
Geez. Well, we didn't do a whole lot of traveling. A lot of local stuff, I think, was part and parcel for it.
Yeah.
Of course, you mentioned USTE, and then
Yep.
you guys went to Michigan.
Yep.
So not one of our fullest years when it comes to travel, but I feel as though we're getting
For
back
distance,
there. Yeah, for distance. Yeah, we certainly did a lot of local stuff, which was a lot of fun,
Yep.
and enjoyed that.
Yep.
But I certainly would like to get back in the RV and do a little bit further traveling in the years to come, because I think we're getting back to that.
Michigan was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Great Lakes Gauntlet. A bunch of you guys on the channel will have already seen some videos for that.
Good
I did
video.
a couple of lives, while I was over there.
Yep.
So I think one of the struggles for me now that we are doing different kinds of travel, different store setup, is that I don't have a lot of time to go out and do trail videos when we're at events.
Right. Yeah.
And so what happens is the channel doesn't get the same amount of travel, well, not travel content, but it would be
Trail content.
trucks,
Yeah.
truck content, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of the reasons why we have had a lot less stuff on the channel. Obviously, we're still building trucks and doing stuff and
behind the scenes,
you know, all the store stuff and all that stuff. So lots of that going on.
Yeah.
And then, as the same as with anybody, you know, family changes, stuff going on with the kids, and do some travels with that, and then all the events that happen with the family. So all of that has filled up our summer, and now it's not exactly winter out there yet.
No.
But I feel like build season is upon us.
I agree with you. I think you took the words right out of my mouth. It's getting cold. The nights are cold. The days are shorter. It really starts to get me involved into doing this kind of stuff. Do some builds and build season, right?
Build season.
Yeah, for sure.
So this truck started as a Chevy Blazer a few years ago. And our famous friend Shiny Shane, who does all this shiny goodness here.
Yes.
Shiny Shane decided it was time to fix the front end on the Chevy and actually square it off the way an actual square body should be, instead of that canted front end that RC four-wheel drive sent out.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't really notice that until Shane had pointed it out on this one in particular, and then I went back to some of the older builds where it had that sort of body line.
I know,
And what a difference. It really truly makes a difference.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
The ghosted stripe is amazing. His paint quality is always amazing, and it's buffed and the whole bit. You know, it's automotive grade stuff. So really up the level of quality on the bodies that anything that comes from Shiny Shane. So we're super happy to be messing around with this, and we're going to turn it into a
street truck.
Yeah.
Now, I know that USDE last year had a street truck category?
Street class, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And so awesome to see all the road cars and trucks and like campers that were slammed, and just cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
Cool stuff, on-road stuff that you wouldn't take out on the dirt trail. So
No, so this, I think, with
Yeah.
its look and
Yeah.
the paint job on this is incredible. It's got that sort of metallic speckle look to it. I don't know if that comes out on the camera.
Yeah.
But it just warrants sort of a street vibe to it. And so that's where we're at. That's kind of that's gonna be my big project for the winter.
some of you guys might recognize that wheel,
Yeah.
and that's the bit of the surprise that we're going to unveil on this project. So this came off I think it's a 34 Ford from Traxxas, their street hot rod thing.
Yep.
And then this,
Ta-da!
bong, this is so cool, because I don't actually think there's going to be a whole lot of messing around to do to make this work. The chassis is short, that's why the wheelbase was off, but the chassis is short by 6 or 8 millimeters or something. It isn't very much for this particular build. And so because they have these flat pan chassis here, I know that they make a whole bunch of different wheelbases of this car, this platform, but we're probably just going to chop it off.
Chop it, extend it. You can
That's
almost
it.
put a metal plate in there. I'm not sure.
That's what I mean, like because it's a road car. So I mean, you don't have to worry about, scale frame rails and all that underneath detail. It's just going to be slammed anyways.
Yep.
And then this does have an opening hood.
Yes.
Which means,
Yes.
oh yeah, look at that thing. Mm-hmm. With the actual, double action hinges and everything. So this will have an engine bay, not to mention being on-road. Are you going to make it 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive?
Well, and that's where, I'm unsure because it's just shaft driven, and I could just get a longer shaft or get one made up.
Yeah.
And then it could be 4-wheel drive or it could be 2. I don't know at this point. It could be either way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes once we cut it and sort of see what we're up against. I'd like it to be 4, but I think with the true street vibe, you're looking at a 2-wheel drive truck, right?
It could be either way. I mean, if you decide to do 2-wheel drive, we can just take out the guts in the front diff.
Yeah.
And then there you go, right?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Body mounts and stuff shouldn't be too hard on this.
No.
Maybe magnets. It's not going to get slammed around.
I think one of the dilemmas I have with this is, of course, you want a detailed engine bay. The body deserves it.
Yeah.
But then, do you go on to Comedy and get one of Dion's motors? Or do you do sort of a pan type engine bay where it's just a pan that you put in and then it's kind of, 2D, 3D, if I can say that. The reason why I say that is if I was to invest in one of Dion's motors, it doesn't. I don't think it's going to have the same powertrain that we typically do.
Right. Yeah.
So I would hate to cut leaving most of what the kit is, leaving most of this.
Yeah.
I would hate to have to cut Dion's motor in half just to fit it over top of this front gear case. So I don't know what I'm going to do there, but I do have to get an engine in there. As to what and when and what it'll look like is unidentified at this point.
This is very flat.
Yeah. I mean,
the front.
Dion's motors are so amazing that I would hate to cut it up or use half of it.
Yeah.
Like you want to use the whole thing. It's such an incredible piece. We'll see.
Yeah, that's yet to be found out, eh?
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yeah.
I still think you can do a great job of it. I think even if you did like the inner fenders and that detail, but the motor was only half a motor.
Yeah.
It's not really a pan then. It's still kind of like 3 full D.
Yeah, somewhere in between. I think is where we're going to be at. But yeah, it should be a fun build. This is in reference to your last video. This is going to be my sort of summer or wintertime build. I was experimenting with tires. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. The nice thing is we're literally on the cusp of building this, so there's lots of options. We'll see where it takes me. But the body and the way it's presented has certainly got me inspired. I don't know if this detailed was shown, but you've got to show the Frenched in license plate on the back. Like, are you kidding me or what?
Yeah.
You know? So that's a little neat look to it, and certainly it's got that what's that sort of 90s vibe, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything was Frenched and sculpted, and I mean, they've been doing that for years, but in the 90s with this particular rig.
There's also a fuzzy interior.
Yes. Yeah. Fuzzy.
And flannel seats and stuff. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I love the ghosted stripe. Are you gonna do like a theme on, like maybe a?
Ultimately, I thought like
on the door or something.
Like a workshop truck, you know,
like a hot rod shop.
Yeah, like a hot rod shop truck. I think is really sort of talking to me. So yeah, there could be some sort of, you know, Shane, if you're listening to this, if you had your own sticker pack.
I know, eh?
Like Shiny Shane sticker pack that was kind of had the vibe of like a workshop sticker pack. I would love to put this on there and have that sort of a paint workshop truck. I think would look mint.
That would be super cool.
Yeah, so it's an exciting build for me, and then I hope to, you know, show it off next year in some of the events that are going to be going on next year, and if we get into a little bit more traveling, that'll be awesome too. So,
well, that's what this is here for.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go through why is this here at the same time?
So oftentimes I like to do these things not in tandem but themed.
Yeah.
Where I'll build a truck and then perhaps I'll have a 2-wheel or 4-wheel drive buggy that will go along with it that's either vintage or new.
Yeah.
And so when I was at 2023 USTE, a gentleman came up to me and said, you know what, I got one of these vintage RC10s still in a box. Haven't used it for 30 years. Would you be interested in it? And I said, of course I'd be interested in it. Anyways, the guys down there picked it up for me. So it's a true vintage RC10. Yeah, or I'll go for it. Like, take it apart. It's been used, and it's been used, which is to be expected. I believe the guy raced it.
Oh, wow.
But all the parts are there. And I thought, because it's not perfect...
Yeah.
And to get it back to perfect would cost an arm and a leg simply because of the parts, and some of the old new stock parts are very expensive. So I was going to try to restore it as best as I could, and then rather than keeping it like box art, I would use this as the theme and maybe make like a blue RC10 to match it. Maybe get a trailer, which I have, and it could trailer it or something to that effect. So wintertime builds, this in conjunction with this, I think is going to be a really neat build. So a blue RC10 would be pretty cool. So yeah, I was lucky enough to pick that up while I was in USTE, and yeah, it's going to be a fun build season for sure. I'm excited. And of course, it's a gold pan RC10. It's an A stamp for those who know their stuff. I am a little unfamiliar, but you know, to either paint that or anodize that blue, and then perhaps get a repop body and give that some sort of blue metallic look. And then just sort of build it up from stock, I think would look amazing. What do you think?
I love your themes.
Yeah.
I really do. This is such a cool project. Mm-hmm. These things are totally icons, you know? Like, I remember when I had my RC addiction in the 80s and 90s, and the RC Car Action magazine had one of these flying on a full-page ad in every single one of those issues of the magazine.
Yeah, the ad itself, eh?
Just the ad itself was like, oh yeah.
And back then they had a really clever ad where they had, I think, the car as a model, but then they superimposed a guy getting a trophy, you know, like a real guy getting a trophy. Yeah. And so it played on that a little bit. What a great ad. So yeah, it's in good shape. It's all there.
Yeah, it is. It's super nice.
So I got to get, I think either anodize it or paint it. One of the two.
Well, we can blue anodize it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
this is just gold anodized, so you get it stripped and re-anodized.
Perfect. And I'm sure blue's a popular color.
Blue can be done, no problem. And it's almost like this tone as well.
Oh, that'll look amazing.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. We'll
Okay.
do that. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. So we got a nice Chevy build with an RC10. Combine those. Man, I can't wait. It's going to be a good winter for sure.
That'll be a sweet theme.
You betcha.
We had we're going to talk about the buildings in a minute. You'll see on that side of the screen there's one on the turntable back there. Our friend John Orr from we met him in Michigan years ago. He makes these great custom buildings. We're going to do a whole video just on the buildings to give us some diorama ideas, and say thanks to John for putting those together. And he's a real craftsman. So in his absence, he's not here for the video, but we're going to do a video about his buildings. Watch for that on the channel in a minute. And yeah, I mean, so we need to. We can finish the discussion.
Sure.
When we had our last video, we were talking about engine bays, doing a flat pan or a full engine bay, and do you get half points for the flat pan or full points for a flat pan? Like in this case right here, I know you're going to put in an enormous amount of detail, and so the comments were really good on that video. I think a lot of guys are saying, like, if you're going to do, you know, the half pan or the tray interior, you're still going to do the same amount of work because it really is 3D. It's just not all the way to the oil pan.
Agreed. I'll give you that.
And I think they're right.
I agree. Yep, 100%.
I think you're still going to do the same amount of work.
Yeah, I agree. I think I remember the one of the builds I had. It had Dion's motor in it, and it was the only difficult part I found because it was full 3D was marrying fitting the headers in. Getting the headers to fit in between the rails and the shock towers and stuff was a bit of a tight fit. So that took some work, but and so a pan would alleviate that. So it's actually probably help you with that. But certainly, I've seen some pans with an incredible amount of detail where you look at it and you say you think it's a full, complete.
It really looks good.
3D engine bay, and yet it's just a pan. So yeah, there's people out there that do them so well that you can't even tell the difference, really.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep. So the way that I view that as far as like scoring would go is if you look at the engine bay from 3 different views.
Okay.
So right side, it looks like 3D. From the front, it looks 3D. From the other side, it looks 3D. You're not seeing servos sticking out. You're not seeing wires from the RC stuff. You're not seeing silver can motors. That's what I would consider to be the defining moment. So if you can't recognize any RC stuff and you have full 3D depth from like as if you were standing on all 3 sides, then I think you're good. Some of the guys might argue that if you look underneath and you can't see the oil pan and the exhaust, then it doesn't really count. But I think that's a whole separate level of modeling that GCM C-Max would give you that. C-Max 2 will give you that. Some other engine bays will allow you to do that. Yep. But not every chassis will allow you to. We're still limited by RC parts is what I'm saying.
Yeah, agreed.
So,
agreed. Yep. Yep. And from your last video, some of the projects you're working on, I'd love to know what some of the projects you guys are working on. We have a build season. You may not, or it may be year round for you guys. Yeah. But this is certainly our build season. So what are you building for your build season? I would love to see some of the builds that are happening or starting, because we're certainly starting a bunch here for sure.
So the Rover discos are being done now. There's 3 of those that are being built. Yep. Those 3 are going to be put under our new double radius arm suspension for Rovers, so that's super cool.
That's going to be cool.
Actually, I was going to work on that this afternoon, actually.
Yeah, you, Dan, and someone else have a bunch. You have to get those things done, eh? Those are the Broncos, are they?
Yes, the Broncos.
With the James Duff stuff underneath it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to get on that.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, for sure.
And Shiny Shane, this guy who paints these, he has a stupid, special, weird thing that he's putting together for me. Oh yeah. And it's got a Ford base as well, so we're going to have to use the radius arm chassis for that.
Nice.
And it's going to be like
So do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what it is. Him and I talked about it.
All right.
And I gave him all the bits to actually create the what he needs for the paint and whatever. So like it's going to be.
So stay tuned kind of thing.
And I'm staying tuned because sometimes you just let him go with his creative, ability, and then he comes up with something like that.
Yeah.
And it just has to be finished. So anyways, the base is ready for that, and so I know what it's going to be, and in its general. And that'll just a personal project. It's not something I'll be putting on the site or anything like that. That's kind of cool.
I'm excited for that.
Me too.
Because anything that Shane does is exciting.
Yeah. And then lots of new design stuff for the Patreon. There's I think 4 or 5 different mount kits that are in the process right now. So that'll be cool for the Patreon guys. If you don't know what we're talking about, we have a Patreon site called patreon.com/GCMRacing. And in there's like a general, hey, how you doing level. Then there's the builders group, which is the most popular one. And we put on the builders group, we put all of our 3D printed files on there. So if we make mount kits for this, they'll go on. If we make wheel inserts or like wheel caps or side sliders or any of that stuff, that all goes onto that Patreon site so that the dudes can get the files they need to finish their builds, and it's super cool to get interacting with those guys. Mm-hmm. So that's where we do that. It's not Thingiverse and all that other 3D file sharing sites and stuff. We used to use Shapeways for all that so that guys could get their files printed at Shapeways if they want, but the prices of Shapeways just like went, it's like launched to the outer space. So I can't really support that project anymore, so we're doing it on a Patreon instead, and it's cheap.
Yeah. There you go.
It is. It's like a few bucks a month, and then you can get all the files you want.
I have an odd question for you while we're here. So we're in our studio. Of course, we got all these RCs behind us, but just in front of us is this incredible motorbike that Chris drives, and I'm sure you've seen it on the video. Actually, he did a review of a certain truck from FMS.
Yeah, we took the FMS JLU over to the quarry with it.
Yeah. So most of our group, I have not, but most of our group has gotten motorcycles. Yeah. So, are you going to get that Hor-Osi motorcycle thing, majobber?
Oh, dude!
Like, I'm surprised you guys who have motorcycles haven't lined up for that.
Yeah, well, some of us have, and actually, when I was in Michigan, I got a chance to rip one around. For half a battery.
I'm curious.
They're so fun. It's so addicting, and they're so smart now. Like the Horizon and Hor-Osi, and they all put their heads together, with the electronics guys, and now. They're so smart. So they have a little knob on the transmitter that lets you dial in the amount of front brake that you want when you're braking. So you get rear brake from engine braking, like an RC car.
Right.
And then you get front brake from an actual servo actuated like caliper in the front.
I've seen those little calipers.
Dude,
there's billet aluminum ones you can get now too.
So you set them all up so that you can get like the compression and the suspension when you're leaning in, and then you can set all your gyro settings to allow you to lean farther or not, and like it's dude, it is so much fun.
You need one of those.
I need one of those. It's so fun. And they're so well made. Like they do eat batteries. You put a big 3-cell in it there, and there's so much stuff going on in it for electronics. But they drive awesome, and they jump, and they're fun. And now you can get on-road tires for them, and like all kinds of other accessories. So well done, guys. Yeah, well done to the Hor-Osi.
Hor-Osi.
That's their new name, Hor-Osi. Horizon and Hor-Osi guys. They really do.
Hor-Osi.
Hor-Osi. It's all one company now.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. So pretty exciting for those guys, yeah. And I think there's been some rumor that Traxxas has something on the go, blah blah blah. I don't know. They always have something on the go, so they maybe they're making a bike. Who knows? But this newest one from Horizon is
pretty cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to get one. Very ripping around on one of those.
Yeah, you need to get a full size.
I need to. Oh, I have full size, just not.
Yes,
a dirt
I know.
bike
Actually,
yet.
you do. Yeah. 2 of them, I think.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You're hogging.
I just got to get a dirt bike now. Yeah. Anyways, okay.
So that's been fun, and it's really is cool to throw your RCs on the back of a dirt bike. And
I thought that was a cool thing.
Go off into the wilderness and run on the rocks and stuff,
get places no one else can.
No one, So it is really cool to do that.
Cool, nice.
Yeah. Cool. So fall update for you guys. Appreciate you watching, and we'll be watching for your comments and stuff in the YouTubes. If you have any questions for us, post them down in the comments. We'll be sure to look through all of them and write them all down, and then I don't know, maybe once a month in the winter we'll go through and just answer all the YouTube questions.
You bet.
And give you guys an update. We have, if you are wondering if we're going to do basement track again, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely sure. That we will be doing some kind of laps in Dana's basement again this winter. Yeah,
we usually, but December, January, we usually organize that. Everyone comes up and we do a big race. So look forward for that. I look forward to that.
Yeah, me too. That's always a fun time.
Yep.
Yeah. Tell us what you guys have going on for projects right now, and we're looking forward to your comments and stuff. So cheers.
Cheers. Be well.